So today I'm going to be reviewing the Lenovo Tab M11, and I've actually been using this tablet for the last few weeks, and it's a very interesting device. It actually does fit in very well for the price it's at, but you still might wonder how it compares to something like a Galaxy Tab A9 Plus, and how good this tablet really is. So I'm going to give you all of my thoughts in this full review. So with all that being said, let's get right into it. So typically when I review a Lenovo tablet, what I often see is Lenovo really packs a punch with the hardware. Normally Lenovo gives us really great specs. They normally give us better specs than Samsung for the money, but Samsung actually does provide a little bit of better software support. And that's normally what I see whenever I'm comparing Samsung and Lenovo. And when I look at this tablet, I see a lot of promising things, but in some ways, I'm pretty shocked that this isn't a little bit better. But on the other hand, when I see all the sales, I still think it's worth buying for some of you. So let me explain what I mean. First off, you do have a good design on this tablet. It's very much to be expected. A lot of these tablets are just made from nice aluminum, and we're seeing that here. You do have two speakers on each side of the tablet, which is nice, a micro SD card slot, and you do not have any type of fingerprint sensor, so it is just face unlock. Now the face unlock with Lenovo is typically a little bit worse than Samsung tablets, and it does require good lighting, but I will say this tablet is doing pretty good with face unlock, and Lenovo face unlock normally is not good for me, but this face unlock has been working a little better, at least compared to the P11 Pro Gen 2, for example. Now, if we move on from the design, one thing that really sets Lenovo apart from Samsung is the price, because they really packed a punch with the retail price here. The Lenovo Tab M11 actually retails for $180, but I'm already seeing sales bringing it to like $140 or cheaper. So you're talking about a device that's barely over $100. And the Galaxy Tab A9 Plus, I would actually argue it's a little bit better than this tablet, but it is actually priced at a higher price. Now we are seeing a lot of sales on that device too, but that device does retail for like $230 compared to this for like $180. So that's a pretty big difference as far as the price. So if you are looking to really get a bargain, not only does this retail for a cheaper price than the competition from Samsung, but it also, well, goes on sale a lot too. So those sales are very, very significant, and they could definitely save you a lot of money. Now, if we do go to the display, I'm actually pretty impressed with what Lenovo did here, because this is an 11-inch device, of course. It does have a really good 1080p display, but it does have a 90 Hz refresh rate. Now, I was very surprised by that, because if you go in the display options, it doesn't have any option at all as far as the refresh rate is concerned. So you cannot move it from 60 Hz to 90 Hz or back and forth. You just can't do that. So I didn't see any setting for it, so I almost thought it was a 60 Hz display. But whenever I went into the developer options, I was able to turn on that setting that actually shows the refresh rate, and it was showing a 90 Hz refresh rate. So it does feel very smooth whenever I am actually scrolling around. I'm really happy that they did bring a better refresh rate here on this tablet, and it's really sad that Apple can't bring even 90 Hz to their $800 devices. But I digress from picking on Apple. Either way, I'm happy to see it here. Now, outside of the refresh rate, it still is a very good display. It's not perfect. The colors, of course, they're not going to pop. It's not an AMOLED display, so it's not going to pop quite like AMOLED does. But it's still a nice display for the money. It's very comparable with the Galaxy Tab A9 Plus. It is an IPS LCD display, but it does look very, very nice. So it's good for entertainment, and it's good for those of you who have lower expectations. Just keep in mind, if you're coming from a higher-end device or a higher-end phone, you're not going to get a crazy high-end phone here. You're just going to have to deal with a normal 1080p display with a 90 Hz refresh rate, and that's going to have to be good enough for you. No AMOLED here. But we do get 400 nits of brightness, and this screen is still very good for entertainment purposes, and I really did enjoy my time with it. Moving on to performance. That is one area that this device will not beat Samsung. So Samsung's Galaxy Tab A9 Plus, it is still faster in many ways. The processor is a little bit better. This does have a Helio G88 processor, and that is a little bit of an improvement from the M10 Full HD version, but it's still not quite as good as the Galaxy Tab A9 Plus. So you are getting a step down here in performance. It is still fairly good overall, but it's not really a big jump up even from last year's M10 model as far as performance, but at least we get 4 gigs of RAM in the base model. I do think that's a big deal. And there's also 64 gigs of storage. I know some people wish it would have a little bit more storage, but it does have a little bit less storage. That's one thing to keep in mind, at least in the base model. Now, I'm not gonna talk a lot about the cameras. The cameras are serviceable for very, very basic stuff, like some video calling if you need it. There's not any crazy extra features here. It does just charge with a 15-watt charging speed, so no crazy charging speeds or anything like that. And as far as battery life is concerned, the battery size is just over 7,000 milliamps. Technically, it has 7,040 milliamps, and that's gonna get you average battery life for a tablet of this size. Some tablets are gonna have a little bit more battery size, but those tablets are typically a little bit more expensive, and sometimes they actually have higher refresh rates, and sometimes that does actually make the battery a little bit worse anyway. So I would say this is gonna give you average battery life. Not great, not bad, but pretty average for a tablet, because most tablets around this price point, they typically have around 6,000 or 7,000 milliamps anyway. If you are wondering, at least according to GSM Arena, this does have a gyroscope. Of course, it does have GPS, and it is a USB-C 2.0 port, so I wouldn't expect to be able to connect this with a monitor, at least if you are trying to connect HDMI to it. So overall, what are my thoughts? If you're comparing this to the competition out there, if you're looking at this Lenovo Tab M11, if you're deciding if it's worth buying, I would say it is, of course, worth buying for the right person. Once again, it's all about how much money you're willing to spend. So if you see this device on sale for like $130, I'm not really sure that you can beat it. Samsung, of course, has the Galaxy Tab A9 Plus. If you find that on sale, I'm seeing that often for around like $150 or $160. Then sure, if it's neck and neck, I would pick the Galaxy Tab A9 Plus, because Samsung is often better with software support. The display is similar in quality, but you do get a little bit of better performance from Samsung's tablet, and that is a plus. But if you are someone out there who's okay with a little bit less performance and you want to save some money, then this is definitely a good option. I would expect even around the holiday season, this tablet might go around $100 or $120. And right now I'm seeing it again for around $135. If you see this device on sale for that price, that is a steal. I remember the Galaxy Tab A7 Lite from Samsung. It was a tablet that's very, very small, but it's just so slow. The Galaxy Tab A8, it's also very, very slow. This is gonna be a nice jump in performance over the Tab A8. You're gonna get a nice looking display on here, at least for the money. Now, again, if your expectations are very high, if you want a higher end tablet, this will not be as good as the Galaxy Tab S9 FE. Not even close. It won't be as good as the Galaxy Tab S6 Lite. Not even close. And it will not be as good as some higher end devices. So again, if you have high expectations, this is not the place to look. But if you just want a nice tablet for viewing content or for reading and you don't want much else, this is going to be really, really good. This is a great Android tablet for the basics, and it's going to be able to do what you need it to do, no problem. And you could still do some multitasking on here. You could still do some browsing around, and you could even do some light gaming. This would work fine with something like Roblox. It's going to work fine with some lower end games if you are wanting to game on this. And even something like Call of Duty you could play on this as long as you're on lower settings. So I would recommend this for those people, again, who are looking for a cheaper device, a cheaper Android tablet experience. It's going to be one of the cheapest tablets that you could find on Android, but it's going to be one of the only cheaper tablets I would recommend out there. Like, I would not recommend buying a Walmart tablet. I would not recommend buying a super, super cheap Kindle that won't have access to the Google Play Store. If you're looking for a cheaper tablet, just for basic stuff, for reading, for any of that, and you want to do a little bit of stuff on it, this is a really, really good option for you. Now, if you have a little bit more money to spend, or if you find the A9 Plus for a very close price, I would actually get the Galaxy Tab A9 Plus, because you will get a little bit more software support. But this is honestly cheaper than the A9 Plus, and that is a very important thing. If you're looking to save 30, 40, 50 bucks, this is a very good option, and it is a tablet that I would still recommend to you. So hopefully this review has helped you out. Please give this video a like and give it a sub. That would mean a lot to my channel. And by the way, really think about giving me a sub, because I am a smaller channel and I am trying to grow it. I just hit 30,000 subs and we are climbing. So thank you for your support. I hope you have a great day, and check out some other videos if you get a little bit of time, because I do cover a lot of Android content.